What's important to note is that every great economic paradigm in history brings together three defining technologies. And when they converge, they change the entire way we organize economic life. Number one, new communication technologies to more efficiently manage our economic activity. Number two, new sources of energy to more efficiently power our economic activity. And number three, new modes of transportation to more efficiently move our economic activity. So when communication technologies, new power sources, new transportation come together, they really change the economic equation. Two quick examples. First industrial revolution, 19th century. Second industrial revolution, 20th century. Now the Brits led the 19th century first industrial revolution. Manual print presses were replaced by steam power printing. Then they introduced the telegraph. Those communication technologies converged with cheap coal, powered by a new British invention, the steam engine. Then the Brits put it all on rails, with locomotives on national rail systems. In the 20th century, we had another convergence of communication, energy, and transport, a second industrial revolution, this time led by the US. Centralized electricity and the telephone, later radio and television, became the communication technologies that converged with cheap Texas oil, powered by a new invention, the internal combustion engine. And then Henry Ford put everyone on wheels for transportation on road systems. That second industrial revolution is now sunsetting. We have optimized its productivity. That's why every economy in the world is stalled. GDP is slowing, unemployment's rising, productivity is waning. We are, however, on the cusp of a third industrial revolution, a new convergence of communication technologies, new sources of energy, new modes of transport. The communication internet, which we're all using now, is beginning to converge with a digitalized, renewable energy internet and a digitalized, automated, GPS-guided, and soon driverless transport and logistics internet to create three internets in one system: communication, energy, transport, and logistics. These three internets are the kernel of what we call an Internet of Things. What we're doing is we're connecting sensors into every machine so that we can send data back to these three internets. Sensors in the factories, sending data back on what's going on with our production. Sensors in smart homes, sensors in our smart cars, our warehouses, even our agricultural fields. And they're sending data back to these three internets. The Internet of Things platform and these three internets, communication, energy, and transport, they're what we call the foundation for the third industrial revolution. It's a digitalized economy. Smart economies, smart world. Yeah, wow is it. I wish I were younger because the crisis is here, but the opportunity is enormous. And nowhere will the opportunity be more impressive than Africa. Watch Africa. Because it missed the first industrial revolution totally. It missed most of the second industrial revolution. It still has the largest percentage without electricity, but it's the fastest growing market, if you will, for mobile technology, and it's doubling the internet capacity growth beyond other countries now, so in regions. So I think Africa is the place to look for what we might call a digital third industrial revolution. This Internet of Things platform, here's what it allows us to do. We have 3 billion people connected to the internet right now. Pretty soon everyone's going to be connected because we have smartphones for $25 now. And mobile technology will allow places like Africa to bypass all that standard infrastructure and begin to move real quick. What this means, if let's say you're anywhere in Africa, every one of us has a value chain, whether we're an individual or a family or a small business or a cooperative, where we're constantly marshaling economic activity, we're storing economic activity, we're sometimes producing economic activity, consuming it and recycling it. That's a value chain. It means that any of us, small business, cooperative, large company, can go up and take their sheet of the value chain out of this Internet of Things, because you'll see the big data coming through the system. And everyone can take the data coming through their value chain, cut it out, and use their own analytics, their own algorithms, create their own apps, so they can dramatically increase their aggregate efficiency across every conversion of their value chain, increase their productivity, and reduce their marginal cost to be very competitive in the capitalist market. And some of their marginal cost for some goods and services will go to near zero, meaning goods and services can be produced for free and be abundant and be shared beyond the market. So let me give you some concrete examples. Communication internet's now been here for 25 years. It's the first of the three internets. And what it's done is it's allowed us with the digitalization to eliminate all the middlemen, all the big vertically integrated companies. People can now directly engage with each other at near zero marginal cost. I'll give you some examples. We have 3 billion people on the internet, and every one of them, including across Africa, have been prosumers at any given time. Not just sellers and buyers, and not just owners and workers, but prosumers, meaning they're producing and sharing music with each other at near zero marginal cost. If you produce a little music, your fixed costs aren't so much, but the marginal cost of sharing that music with one person or a billion people on the internet, it's near zero. We have young people producing and sharing their own videos, YouTube video. Again, fixed cost low, marginal cost of sharing it with one person or a billion people, near zero. You just need to have your cell phone, smartphone on. Young people are producing and sharing their own news blogs, their own social media. They're contributing to Wikipedia, the knowledge of the world. They're even taking college courses online at near zero marginal cost. So what's happened is some of the biggest industries of the 20th century have been disrupted. The music industry, television, newspapers, magazines, book publishing, because now on the internet, we can democratize entertainment, news, and knowledge and begin to produce and share for each other. But what's happened here is other industries thought there'd be a firewall. And while the zero marginal cost might impact the virtual world, entertainment, news, knowledge, it wouldn't cross over to the physical world. What I'm saying in the new book, The Zero Marginal Cost Society, is we've now breached the firewall. It's called the Internet of Things. When the communication internet converges with a renewable energy internet and an automated transport and logistics internet, we can now envision in Africa and everywhere else in the world, everyone producing their own green electricity and sharing it on an energy internet at near zero marginal cost, and produce and share, if you will, transportation with each other on an automated transport and logistics internet at low marginal cost, and even produce and share your own 3D printed products with each other at low to zero marginal cost. I think what we need to say now is this is Africa's moment. It's been long in coming. And again, I emphasize that Africa completely missed out on the first industrial revolution. It was a colonial outsourcer, but it wasn't within the game. And Africa lost out in most of the second industrial revolution. Now it's Africa's moment to create the new virgin infrastructure for a digital Internet of Things third industrial revolution, so that can dramatically increase productivity, reduce marginal cost, be the most competitive businesses, if you will, on the global marketplace, and reduce some marginal cost to near zero and help the new sharing economy emerge. The young people are going to be in two economies now in this century. Part capitalist market, where they exchange goods and services traditionally, but we're now seeing a younger digital generation that's also so productive that it can reduce marginal cost to zero and produce and share for each other in the sharing economy. Share the vehicles, share the homes, share the tools, the toys. This sharing economy allows us to have two choices. We can have property exchange in markets, or begin to produce and share for each other in the sharing economy at low to near zero marginal cost. Nielsen just did a survey, a global survey, and they asked which countries are more likely to be sharing. Europe and America came in pretty good at over half the population, but Africa and Asia came up higher, and I think the reason is there is still a mentality of sharing. It's part of the cultural DNA in Africa and the Asia Pacific, that part of economic life is you give to each other and you share with each other. So in all these ways, I think we're going to see a digital economy, a third industrial revolution, move quickly in Africa and move quickly in parts of Asia.